And it is January the 28th. It's a Tuesday, and it's kind of gloomy outside where I live, and I have lots of stuff to do this afternoon, including getting my hair cut. I am of the belief that once your hair starts getting caught in your armpits when you roll over at night, it's time to cut it. Secondly, if you're eating your hair because it keeps falling into your mouth, it's time to cut it. The other thing is, the other night while I was sleeping, I couldn't figure out what was tickling my nose, was trying to go up my nostril, and of course I was breathing in a hair, so the hair is going. This, of course, is my finished product of the wild cow, and you can see where I just added the picot edges on it. I had a lot of fun with that one. I did add quite a few things. I added a cross stitch in the bottom here. I have added, here's the cross stitch right there. I did a chain one, double crochet in between. That is something that I love doing when I'm making shawls. I'll change them up all the time, but I'll also just start with a basic and then just do different stitches and see how they work in. And that was the main idea of the wild cow, was for you to see how you can, I think Craig of Fiber Spider had called it organic. What he was doing when he did his 2020 challenge with the scarf for the wrap, he wound up doing some organic knitting. This is basically organic crocheting. Just taking it, playing with it, and just running with it. So, and of course, season of the granny, and I had already started the granny. Of course, this is the granny that I had started with using Bob Wilson's tutorial, the Scraptastic granny. You could do it as a scarf, a wrap, or a blanket, and this is just a row by row granny. So, I've had a bit of fun with that. A couple of other finished objects that I've been working on are some frog hats for the nursery. They do want some nursery hats for leap year, so I'm doing frog hats. And that's it for finished objects. I mean, I do have 12 frog hats over to the side that I've finished, so I guess I've been a little busy, right? Some of the whips that I have. And this is a rectangle granny that I started. And I had basically used the Crochet Crowd's Mikey's pattern for that rectangle. The only thing that I do different, and I think 3 stitches in the corner is a bit much, so I only put 2. And I put no stitch in between the little granny stitches. And I think in Mike's pattern, he has you do, your set of 3 for the granny, chain 1, set of 3. And I find that that just kind of begins to look really loose. So I just don't do that. That's the only difference that I have done. And of course we are doing the Tunisian crochet along. And I think you can see where I've been playing. And I wanted to show you something, that when you are doing the reverse stitch, it actually truly is the reverse stitch. And of course this is pearl. I did some rows of pearls, rows of the reverse stitch, pearls, that kind of thing. And then up here on the top, I started to play a little bit where I did basically 5 of the simple stitch, 5 purls, 5 simple stitch, then the 5 purls at the end. The only difference being on the end ones, you don't actually do whatever stitch you're doing, because of course you know on this first side here, where I would be starting and working across this way, your very first loop is your first stitch. So technically you do count that as 1, and then 4, and then 5, 5, and then your last 4, and then go into your last one. I also wanted to show you, I think you can see how I am using that pin to stop that. I have given you in the past tips, and one of the tips I have always done with crochet is to put a stitch marker or just a safety pin. But with this, if you just put the safety pin in here, it can get pulled through your stitch and undo it. So the only other thing that I do is I bring it down into the stitches themselves to close it like that. And I would do that with even these kind of stitch markers to close it off, just because I just think it works out a little bit better. You know, those things are things you have to watch out for because you don't want it unraveling. And Lord knows Tunisian stitch is hard enough sometimes. But I hope that those of you that have started the cowl, have been playing with those stitches. You know, the next couple of rows I was going to do was to do a simple, and probably do them one after the other, Tunisian simple stitch, purl stitch, and a reverse Tunisian simple stitch all the way across to see what happens. That is what makes texture in Tunisian stitch. So while you're waiting for the next section, where we will do the full stitch, the knit stitch, and play around with those too. Play around with the stitches, move them around, you know. Do like, I was doing there, kind of like a basket weave. A couple of stitches this way, a couple of stitches that way. You can even do that with the Tunisian simple stitch and Tunisian reverse stitch. And what you get is, on the other side, looks exactly like the side you're looking at. So play with it, have fun. You know, that is the whole goal of it. Let's see. Okay, and here we're ready for some. And we've got a few shout outs today. Yeah, some of these I've just found. One is Elaine Hook on Yarn and Life. She does a lot of purchasing items, yarn hauls, those kind of things, but I've seen 2 of the videos. She has quite a few videos, so go check out Elaine's channel. And then this next one, Left is Right Sandy shouted her out first, and she shouted her out as I had just found her and clicked on her channel name because it was one that was recommended to me. And I thought, I wonder what this is about. And I'd watched Sandy's first, then I went to watch this. And all she has up right now is her trailer video. But it's absolutely hilarious. It's a great trailer video, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Keelie brings us. And her channel name is Hook in a Teacup. The next gal is Ruby and Rose's podcast. That is Addison. She's a 16-year-old girl, and she is quite talented. She looks very professional as she's doing what she's doing in her podcast, and I'm thinking, Wow. I'm impressed by this 16-year-old, how well she's doing. Her first video, she showed us a lot of the knitting she has done. She primarily knits now, from what I gathered. She has crocheted in the past, but she had some issues. You know, when you crochet, you do wind up having some, lots of times, wrist issues. They kind of tear up your wrist. And basically, a lot of that comes from us not doing exercises, stretches for our wrists and hands, which we should be. Hopefully, Addison will come back to crochet and learn to do it in a slower manner so that she's not so wiped out with her crochet. But she has some beautiful work. Beautiful work. The next gal is this wreathing nurse. She makes a lot of wreaths. She does do some crochet. Right now she's doing a lot of education about the coronavirus that's going around. And it's interesting because I too, like her, have watched some videos where people are wearing masks and they're wearing them improperly. I wanted to say, that's not how you wear it. So she does a little spiel on that. Do I know her first name? No. I have not found a video yet where she actually tells us her name. You know, maybe I just haven't found that video yet because she has quite a few up. So hopefully one of these days, if you know her name, let me know. Because I like to learn their first names, you know. The next gal is Brenda Land. I've seen a couple of her videos and they've been pretty interesting. So, as always, check these ladies out. And that's it for the shout-outs. I did want to add those in here because that's important. Okay? Alright, that's it for that portion. Had a little bit of a sneezing fit. We're ready for some In Tarnation. This first story is quite comical, and there is video, and of course I will leave links down below for the In Tarnation so you can go see the videos if you want to, but it's rather cute. Angry geese interrupt golf game by chasing alligator down the course. There is a wonderful world called Monachopis, Monachopis, I can't even pronounce it, that describes a feeling, the subtle sensation of being out of place, apparently without reason. Still, we wonder if it's our fault or the world around us, but the answer doesn't exist. This must be how this alligator felt as he marched through a huge field while being watched by two-legged creatures in strange carts. This alligator got onto a golf course. This alligator was crossing in the middle of a golf course during a tournament, while the golfers were watching it from the safety of their carts. And then a bunch of wild geese started following it. The geese did not seem concerned about their safety as they continued to annoy the reptile, squawking at it endlessly. It was a real slow-motion chase. It seems that their number intimidated the alligator, since it didn't even try to scare them, and just ran away, though at his own pace, from the furious gang. Sometimes you just can't make this stuff up. Now, apparently, emu are running amok in Pennsylvania as well as all these other states we've been seeing, and countries like Canada. Emu escaped, captured 10 miles away from Pennsylvania farm. An emu that escaped from a Pennsylvania farm was captured about 10 miles away from home after 2 days on the loose. Shane and Brett Ingamy said their 7-month-old emu named Fanny jumped a fence Friday morning at their lower Saucon, I think that's how you pronounce that, township farm, and was spotted in the area numerous times over the ensuing 2 days. Fanny eluded her pursuers until late Sunday afternoon, when she was safely wrangled and returned to the farm. Rescuers said Fanny was captured in a Springfield Township's residence yard about 10 miles from the family farm. Now, this next one I find rather interesting. You know, some people do anything to drive in the carpool lane. Driver caught using carpool lanes with skeleton passenger. Police in Arizona said they pulled over a driver caught using the carpool lanes with a skeleton as his only passenger. The Arizona Department of Public Safety tweeted a photo showing the skeleton wearing a hat and covered in tattered bandages, sitting in the passenger seat of the 62-year-old driver's car. The department said the man was driving in the high-occupancy vehicle lanes on State Road 101 near Apache Boulevard in the Tempe area. The driver was cited for HOV and window tinting violations. Now, when I read this, the first thing I thought of is that little meme that talks about the psychiatrist telling the woman that she needed to find new friends. So she knitted and crocheted her a few friends. And I'm thinking, I wonder if that would pass in the HOV lane. You never know. Don't try it, folks. Apparently they're wise to your things. Now this video was really cute. I have mixed emotions about elephants being, in circuses and things like that, because my son and I both went to a circus in Hampton Roads, Virginia. When we were living there, we went to see the Ringling Brothers. And it was a wonderful show. Now, the elephants did very minimal, part of the show. It looked like they were treated well. They looked well. And they had put it out in an area where the Hampton Roads Coliseum is like surrounded by water, so that the elephants could actually be in the water. And we were able to see elephants up close, that otherwise we would probably never ever see in person. So I have mixed emotions about any animals in captivity, but this is a cute story. Elephants escape circus in Russia to play in the snow. And there's video. A pair of elephants escaped from a circus in Russia and caused some traffic delays while playing in the snow. The Yekaterinburg Circus said in an Instagram post that Asian elephants Carla, 45, and Roni, 50, were being taken for a walk outside before they were due to be driven to St. Petersburg for an Italian circus show hosted by the Bolshoi State St. Petersburg Circus when they pulled free from their handlers. Video captured by witnesses show the elephants rolling and playing in the snow while their handlers attempt unsuccessfully to coax them back toward the circus building. The elephants have their own character and emotions. They are very smart, the Instagram post said. They walked outside and got very happy from seeing the snow, the trees, and the pedestrians, whom they took for spectators. Roni stayed by one of the trees, while Carla walked towards a pile of snow. Road was blocked to prevent the elephants from getting into confrontations with moving vehicles. The elephants were eventually led back to the circus building and loaded into a transport vehicle for the trip to St. Petersburg. And it's really cute with them playing in the snow. Now this is a great idea for not only breweries, well, most breweries bottle our Cokes, but, different sodas, those kind of things. This is a terrific idea. It takes the idea from the milk cartons for missing children. Brewery using beer cans to find homes for shelter dogs. A Florida brewery is finding homes for local shelter dogs by putting photos of adoptable canines on cans of beer. Motorworks Brewing teamed with Manatee County Animal Services to put photos of dogs from the shelter on cans of Cruiser Golden Lager. The brewery said proceeds from sales of lager 4-packs are being donated to Manatee County Animal Services to help build a new shelter. MCAS officials said they are currently at nearly twice the capacity of their current shelter. It has been a constant problem. Being the county's only open admission shelter, we take in nearly 15 to 20 animals every day. Hans Wackelfart, I'm not making up that name. The shelter's outreach and event specialist told WFTS-TV. Wackelfart. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, but that's the way it sure looks in this story. Said 2 of the dogs featured on the cans have already been adopted, but 2 others are still awaiting homes along with dozens of other dogs. I'd be the type of person, if I had extra money, I'd just buy the locker, to service to help with the shelter. But then again, I'd also think, I don't drink. So I'd probably just go and donate the cost of those 4-packs to the shelter. But it's a great story. Now this one, the video is kind of interesting because these fellas just unsuspecting, As Alaska man flees into shed to escape moose. An Alaska family's home security camera was recording when a man barricaded himself into a shed to escape an approaching moose. The video shows Curtis Phelps taking the trash out earlier this month when a large bull moose wanders onto the Anchorage man's property. The moose walks toward Phelps, leading him to flee into a nearby shed and barricade himself inside. Phelps said he called his wife from inside the shed to look and make sure the moose was gone before he emerged. This next one, there's a part of me that goes, did he really win twice? Man accidentally buys identical Powerball tickets, wins twice. A Delaware man who accidentally bought 2 identical Powerball tickets for the same drawing had the mistake pay off when they each won him a $50,000 prize. Okay, I was thinking he won the Powerball. The 61-year-old Newark man told Delaware lottery officials he asked his son to fill out some playslips for the January 18th Powerball drawing, but when he got to Maylands Market in Newark, he realized he only had enough to buy 3 of his intended 4 tickets. The man returned the next day for his 4th ticket and accidentally used the same numbers as one of his other tickets. When I returned to the store after the drawing, I couldn't believe I had won when I scanned the first ticket. The man said, a few hours later when I scanned the second ticket and saw it had also won, I was shaking. It was unbelievable. The man ended up winning $100,000, $50,000 for each winning ticket. The winner said he plans to use some of his winnings to pay off his bills and put the rest into savings. Smart idea. This next story, actually happened in 2017, but I've noticed it's been making the rounds on Facebook. A trucker has lost his marbles in the Indianapolis area. State police tell TV station WXIN that a truck carrying 38,000 pounds of marbles lost its trailer Saturday on southbound Interstate 465 near Pendleton Pike. The marbles were on the shoulder and in the medium. Breaking. A truck driver has lost his marbles. Literally. 38,000 pounds of them. There were no injuries, but a lane of traffic in that area was affected by the cleanup that took most of the day. And there's a picture, but I also include the link so you can go see it. And I'm like, oh, green marbles. Green's my favorite color. That's it for today. I hope that all of you will be following the season of the Granny Challenge that Krista of the Secret Yarnery and Glenda of Creative Grandma have put out there. Their collaborations have been quite a bit of fun. I can't wait to see what they're doing later on this year. And yeah, let's have fun with it and do some grannies. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Everybody have a great day, and remember to choose kindness.